in order to achieve the desired success, Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank everyone for joining the Bhakti Sangha conference call today. Let us move to our next session, which is Srimad Bhagavatam class. May I know who all have joined the class this morning?
Hare Krishna Vardhana Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from Texas.
Hare Krishna Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji. I am Hema from UK. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Your name, Mataji?
Hema.
Hare Krishna, Hema Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Is it the first time, Mataji, you're joining?
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you so much for joining, Mataji. Join every day and give us your association, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Sure, Krishna.
Hare Krishna Vardhana Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. This is Radha Pyari Devidasi from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna, Radha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Vardhana Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharajas, and all glories to the assembled devotees. This is Tiffany in Pennsylvania. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Tiffany Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Okay, go ahead, Mataji.
Go ahead. Hare Krishna Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Sri Guru and Gauranga. Sorry for that. Yashamati from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yashamati Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Vardhana Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai, Shyama Guru Devidasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna, Shyama Gauri Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to all the assembled devotees. This is Sushmita from Canada.
Hare Krishna, Shushmita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radhika Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharajas. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi from Lal.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru and Gauranga, all glories to assembled devotees. This is Charu from Charlotte. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I think Prabhuji had joined already.
Can you start recording, Mataji?
Yeah, Mataji, we will start. Let's continue. We'll start. Preeti Mataji, can you delete some recordings or shall I record? Shall I delete it? It's not allowing me to record.
Okay, Mataji, I will check them.
We can start, Mataji. By the time prayers, it will be there.
Yeah. Welcoming all of to the Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Balaram Shakti Prabhuji. Prabhuji is going to enlighten on the Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 8th chapter from 34th verse onwards. Before going to the class, I will hand out the call to Sureshwar Sham Prabhuji to give brief introduction of Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhu, please take out the call, Prabhuji.
Mataji, we are not doing introduction.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna Balaram Shakti Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving your valuable time and association to us this morning and enlightening on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam. I'll hand over the call to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you very much. Thank you all very much for joining the session. So today we will discuss from Srimad Bhagavatam 6th canto, 8th chapter, verse number 34 to 42. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namini. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Just give me 1 second. Okay. So we have been discussing, or you would have been discussing from this chapter which describes the Narayan Kavach shield. So today we will start from verse number 34 onwards till verse number 42. So, okay, I think I have some problem with my camera, so I'll stop it. So, okay, I'll chant the verse and then we will read the meaning and then we will go on till we come to a purport. Only the last verse of this chapter has a purport. So till then we will keep reading. Dikshurdvam adasamantad antarbahirgavan narasimha prahapayalloka bayam svanena swatejasagrasta samasta tejaha. So Prahlad Maharaj loudly chanted the holy name of Lord Narasimhadev. May Lord Narasimhadev, roaring for his devotee Prahlad Maharaj, protect us from all fear of dangers created by stalwart leaders in all directions through poison, weapons, water, fire, air, and so on. May the Lord cover their influence by his own transcendental influence. May Narasimhadev protect us in all directions and in all corners, above, below, within, and without. No purport, 35th verse. Magavan idam akyatam varma narayanatmakam vijeshyasenjasayena damshito surayutapan. O Indra, this mystic armor related to Lord Narayana has been described by me to you. By putting on this protective covering, you will certainly be able to conquer the leaders of the demons. 36. Etadharayamanastu yam yam pashyati chakshusha padavasam sprishet sadha sadvasat savimuchyate. If one employs this armor, whomever he sees with his eyes or touches with his feet is immediately freed from all the above mentioned dangers. Nakutaschid bayam tasya vidyaharayato bhavet rajadasyugraha divyo vyadivyascha karhichit. This prayer, Narayana Kavach, constitutes subtle knowledge transcendently connected with Narayana. One who employs this prayer is never disturbed or put in danger by the government, by plunderers, by evil demons, or by any type of disease. Imam vidyam purakaschit kaushiko dharayan vijaha yoharanaya swangam jahau samarudhanvani. O King of Heaven, a Brahmana named Kaushika formerly used the armor when he purposefully gave up his body in the desert by mystic power. Tasyo parivimanena gandharva patirekada yayau chitrarata stribhir vruto yatra dvijakshayah. Surrounded by many beautiful women, Chitrarata, the king of Gandharva Loka, was once passing in his airplane over the Brahmana body at at the spot where the Brahmana had died. So this sage Kaushik, who had, by his own will given up his body in that particular desert, his body was lying there, and on top of that body, in the celestial realm, Chitraratha, along with many heavenly damsels, he was passing by. And when he was passing by, actually, his airplane, what happened? It is mentioned, Gagananyapatat Sadyaha Savimano Hyavakshiraha Sa Valakilya Vachana Astinyadaya Vismitaha Prasya Prachi Saraswatyam Snatva Damaswaman Vagat. Suddenly, Chitraratha was forced to fall from the sky head first with his airplane. So that was the power. Struck with wonder, he was ordered by the great sages named the Valakilyas to throw the Brahmana's bones in the nearby river Saraswati. He had to do this and bathe in the river before returning to his own abode. So even the dead body of that personality who had applied this Narayana Kavach all over this body had become so powerful that even someone who was like not an ordinary person, he was a Gandharva, even he got affected. He was controlled by the dead body of a person who had applied Narayan Kavach on his body. So Shukadeva Goswami continues his narration. Shri Shuka Uvacha Yaidam Shrunuyat Kale Yodharayati Chadritah Tam Namasyanti Bhutani Muchyate Sarvato Bayat. My dear Parikshit Maharaj, one who employs this armor or hears about it with faith and veneration, when afraid because of any conditions in the material world, is immediately freed from all dangers and is worshipped by all living entities. Last verse of this chapter. Etam vidyam adigato vishwarupa shatakratuhu trailokya lakshmim je vinirjitye mride suran. King Indra, who performed 100 sacrifices, received this prayer of protection from Vishwarup. After conquering the demons, he enjoyed all the opulences of the three worlds. So, purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada writes, this mystical mantric armor given by Vishwarup to Indra, the king of heaven, acted powerfully with the effect that Indra was able to conquer the Asuras and enjoy the opulence of the three worlds without impediments. In this regard, Madhvacharya points out, Vidyaha karmani cha sada guroho praptaha phalapradaha anyata naiva phaladaha prasannaha phalapradaha. He says, one must receive all kinds of mantras from a bona fide spiritual master. Otherwise, the mantras will not be fruitful. This is also indicated in Bhagavad Gita 4:34. Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. All mantras should be received through the authorized guru, and the disciple must satisfy the guru in all respects after surrendering at his lotus feet. In the Padma Puran, it is also said, Sampradaya Vihinaye mantraste nishpala mataha. There are 4 sampradayas or disciplic successions, namely the Brahma Sampradaya, the Rudra Sampradaya, the Shri Sampradaya, and the Kumara Sampradaya. If one wants to advance in spiritual power, one must receive his mantras from one of those bona fide sampradayas. Otherwise, he will never successfully advance in spiritual life. So, this is a very interesting chapter in the 6th canto, where Indra receives actually the Narayan Kavach shield from Vishwarup to protect himself from the demons. So actually the first theme that we will discuss today is, very briefly we will touch this. What is the relevance of Narayan Kavach type of prayers in a devotee's life? Okay. So ideally, a devotee is not promised by Krishna of protecting his body. Essentially, that is not a promise that Krishna gives, and that is not what a pure devotee seeks from Krishna also. So he does not try to engage Krishna in kind of protecting his body, because a devotee, he learns to see even so-called dangers as an arrangement of Krishna to take sincere shelter of Krishna. So Jivetayo mukti pade sadaya mak. What is that verse? What is the beginning of that verse? Anyone remembers? Tattenu kampam susamikshamano bunjan devatma kritam vipakam hridvag vapurbir vidadan namaste jivetayo mukti pade sadaya mak. So that very verse indicates the mood of a devotee. A devotee feels tatte anukampam susamikshamana. He very clearly sees whatever suffering that comes, he tries to see it as not only he says anukampa, bunjana eva atmakritam vipakam. So he sees whatever is suffering is coming to the devotee, he sees, I am suffering because of my own offenses. I misused my free will, and I engaged in offending devotees. I engaged in offending the holy name, offending my guru, and all the suffering that is coming to me is due to my own offenses. Bunjana eva atmakritam vakam. So the word bunjana means he is willing to undergo the suffering, and he does not try to neutralize it. Well, we will touch this point little bit. But at the same time, he is also able to see Krishna's anukampa, his compassion in bestowing the suffering in such a way that the devotee is inspired to seek shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. Therefore, while the devotee is willing to undergo that suffering, it also generates gratitude, because not only does he see suffering a result of his own offenses, but he also sees Krishna's hands. That is why Hridvag Vapurbir Vidadan Namaste. That is why with his heart, with his words, and with his body, he is again and again offering obeisances to Krishna, expressing his gratitude, because he sees Krishna is even in giving this suffering, Krishna is pulling me closer. So a devotee is aware of Krishna's plans. Okay. So, but that does not mean that one may say that why can't we actually chant Narayan Kavach prayer for protection, right? Because it is a bona fide prayer given in Srimad Bhagavatam. Why can't we offer that? But this prayer is given to Indra, who was a mixed devotee and who actually desired that kind of protection, and who was not necessarily seeing the hands of Krishna, and he was not necessarily using that as an opportunity to surrender to Krishna. So for such people, this kind of Narayan Kavach kind of prayers, may Narasimha protect my left hand, may Rishikesh protect my right hand, may some other one protect. We don't want to disturb the Lord for these kind of things, for protection. I mean, we have full trust that Krishna will protect irrespective of whether we ask for it or not. Irrespective of whether we ask for it or not, we pray for Krishna's protection. But Krishna's protection is guaranteed for the devotee, not necessarily his body. So that is not guaranteed. So we don't essentially pray for that. But sometimes, so if a suffering is given, should a devotee try to neutralize it by approaching a doctor or something like that? Or should he just tolerate it, knowing that Krishna only has orchestrated the suffering? So this is where we understand that, our ability to tolerate is directly proportional to our spiritual advancement. Why? Because directly proportional to spiritual advancement is our absorption. Tvad-virya gayana mahamrita magna chitta. So, along with spiritual absorption, we will have greater absorption. And when we have greater absorption, we have greater tolerance. Okay. When there is greater tolerance, then there will lesser dependence on cheshta. Cheshta means endeavor to overcome suffering. If we are unable to tolerate our suffering, our suffering, and continue practicing our devotional service, then one may have to necessarily endeavor to reduce that suffering so that we can practice devotional service properly. But the more one progresses, the more one will be absorbed. The more one will be absorbed, the less and less one will be affected by that external suffering. So like that. So therefore, for a sadhaka who is unable to tolerate his suffering, if he has to endeavor in such a way that it does not threaten his faith in Krishna and increases his appreciation of Krishna. Not that devotees should not endeavor in any way to reduce that suffering. No, they can endeavor, but they can endeavor in such a way that it does not threaten their pure devotional faith. In that way, one can definitely endeavor. But these kind of Narayan Kavach kind of prayers, even though they are in Srimad Bhagavatam, okay, it is there for a purpose. But that purpose is not to encourage practicing pure devotees, chant for protecting their left hand and right hand and leg, and Rishikesh should protect me during the first part of the day. During the second part, we don't pray for such kind of things, right? So therefore, in one sense, we Rakshishyati iti Vishwaso. We have the trust that the Lord will protect irrespective of whether we ask for it or not. But sometimes when we are unable to tolerate our suffering, then we can always pray to Krishna. Krishna, I am not able to tolerate this suffering and practice Krishna consciousness. Can you please do something so that I can either give me tolerance or please remove this so that I can peacefully worship you. So the goal is to worship Krishna. So the goal is to worship Krishna. So anything that becomes an obstacle to worshiping Krishna, we may ask for some strength to tolerate, or maybe we may request Krishna to remove that obstacle, like that. So therefore, this is one small thing I just wanted to touch before we move forward to the second thing which Srila Prabhupada actually emphasizes in the purport. Sampradaya vihinaye mantraste nishphala mata. Without being received in a proper sampradaya, a mantra is not very useful. So we will touch this topic. Before we get, so we will be discussing from, I just thought we will discuss, not very exhaustively, because this topic is, you can keep discussing on and on and on, but little bit we will touch from Harinam Chintamani, where in the third offense is to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. From that chapter, we will be discussing something about Guru Tattva, because yesterday was Nityananda Trayodashi. So he is the Adi Guru. So I thought we could take this opportunity, because Srila Prabhupada in the purport also is talking about the importance of receiving the mantra from a bona fide parampara. From a bona fide parampara means bona fide Guru Shishya parampara. It has to come properly. So we will try to understand the importance of Guru and parampara. So if you see in the 64 limbs that Srila Rupa Goswami talks about, the first 5 limbs are connected to Guru. The first 5 limbs are connected to Guru. Adau Guru Padashraya. First, taking shelter of a Guru is the first limb. Shri Krishna Dikshadi Sikshanam. Taking Diksha and acquiring knowledge from him. Vishrambena Guror Seva. Treating the Guru with respect. Sadhu Vartma Anuvartmanam. And learning from him how to properly follow the rules of the scriptures as approved by Acharyas. Okay. And which scripture is bona fide, which scripture is not bona fide. Amongst the bona fide scriptures, which are the scriptures which are applicable to me according to my adhikar? What is my adhikar? And what is to be followed, what is not to be followed according to one's adhikar? All of this has to be learned from the Guru. And if there is any doubt, Sadharma Pricha. One should inquire from the Guru and get his doubts clarified. So if you see, of the 64 limbs, the first 5 limbs are exclusively connected to the Guru. So it starts, the symptom of faith. Someone may say that, look, I have faith in bhakti, but I don't think I need a Guru to practice bhakti. If someone feels like that, then it is mentioned actually by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur that the first symptom of faith, when we say Yadrichaya matkatadau jata shraddho sevane na nirvinno nati sakto bhakti yogosya siddhita. Bhagavatam talks about what is the symptom. When can you say that someone is qualified to practice bhakti? Yadrichaya matkatadau jata shraddha. When someone develops faith in the limbs of devotion service, then such a person is qualified for practicing bhakti. So now he says, what is the symptom? What is the first sign of such a faith? The first sign of such a faith is that one feels dependent on other devotees, especially the Guru, for one's own practice. So that is true faith, where one immediately realizes the importance of other devotees, especially the Guru, in his own life for practicing spirituality. That is why Adav Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha. Immediately he seeks the association of sadhus, especially his Guru. So if someone actually develops faith in practicing the limbs of bhakti, but feels that he does not need association of other devotees and feels that he does not need a guru, then that faith is not Adav Shraddha. It is not Adav Shraddha because it does not have that very important ingredient of faith, which is a sense of dependence on Guru and other Vaishnavas. So, therefore, therefore, Bhagavatam says, Archayam eva haraye, pujayam shraddaye hate, natad bhakteshu chanyeshu sabakta prakrita smrita. Srimad Bhagavatam talks about Prakrita Bhakta. So, Srimad Bhagavatam's Prakrita Bhakta or a Kanishta Adhikari is not a Bhakti Adhikari actually. His kind of faith is called as Laukiki Shraddha, sentimental faith. Okay. So, he is not, according to Bhakti Rasamrit, he is not Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu's Kanishta Adhikari. He is Bhagavatam's Kanishta Adhikari. And Bhagavatam's Kanishta Adhikari, he is not actually a Bhakti Adhikari at all. Because that faith is not Shastriya Shraddha. It is Laukiki Shraddha, sentimental faith. So, Archayam eva hare, he may very nicely perform deity worship also. Pujayam sheyehate, he may do all the Archana rituals with great faith. Natad bhakteshu cha anyeshu. But if he is not actually dealing with other devotees, if he does not see Vaishnavas as someone special, then that faith is Laukiki Shraddha. It is not. Therefore, he is called a Prakrita Bhakta. Oh, I mean, you see, this is like an oxymoron. Okay. Bhakta means he is transcendental. Prakrita means material. How can you call someone as Prakrita Bhakta? Then would mean he is a material spirit. You know, how either it is spirit or mad. Okay. So how can you call someone as Prakrita Bhakta? Prakrita Bhakta means material devotee or materialistic devotee. So therefore, that faith is sentimental faith. So if someone has not yet realized the importance of a guru, that faith is no faith. It is not Adav Shraddha. Okay. So let us see the importance of guru. Srimad Bhagavatam says, Nrideham adyam sulabam sudurlabam plavam sukalpam guru karnadaram mayanukulena nabasvateritam puman bhavabdim nataret sa atmaha. So one who has received a human body, Nrideham, which is sudurlabam, very rare. Adyam sulabam, but sometimes it is very easily attained by good fortune. And plavam sukalpam, it is a well-crafted boat. And Guru Karnadaram, and the Guru is compared to the captain of that ship. Maya anukulena navasvata iritam. And when you are flying in the ocean, you also need favorable winds to push you. So the desire to serve the Lord, that service attitude is compared to that favorable wind. But still, Puman Bhavabdim Nataret, despite having such a well-crafted boat in the form of the human body, despite having a captain in the form of the Guru, and despite having the opportunity to perform devotional service, if one still refuses to cross this ocean of material existence, sa atmaha, such a person is a killer of himself. Harinam Chintamani, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, having wandered from one body to another in 84 lakh species of life, through unintentional pious activity, the jiva obtains a human body. The human body is a rare opportunity because only in this form can the living entity perform devotional service properly. Therefore, in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu also, Srila Rupa Goswami says, talk about qualification for bhakti. He says, Nrimatrasya adhikarita. If someone is a human being, one has to be at least a human being to practice devotional service. So as a demigod, one has the tendency to enjoy, and as a lower animal, one has no capacity for knowledge. So even a demigod body is said to be not so favorable. Atishaya Indriya Utsavat. The demigods themselves say that there is so much scope for enjoyment in Swarga that it distracts one from focusing on one's spiritual duties. But in the human form of life, the living entity can progress back to his constitutional position with Krishna. Therefore, if one does not take care to attain Krishna in this temporary body, one will die and obtain some other body, losing the opportunity to escape from the material prison. Neha Vikrama Nashi Pratyavayo na Vidyate Swalpamopyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhayat. So if one even little bit starts practicing devotional service with proper faith, then he's certainly guaranteed a human body in the next life. That is guaranteed. But if he does not worship, then human body is not guaranteed. He may lose the opportunity to escape from the material prison, because that escaping from the material prison is possible only if one has human birth. So the intelligent person, having attained a human birth in this world, will take shelter of a spiritual master who will act as a captain to guide the jiva over the ocean of nature with the instructions of Bhakti Yoga. This is the importance of the Guru. So without Guru, the ship cannot ply, because the Guru knows the direction. The captain of the ship only knows the direction. So without that captain, there is no use of that ship, because the ship cannot cross over the ocean of material existence, because there is no one to guide it in the right direction. So having said that, what is the qualification of a Guru? So there are some primary considerations and there are some secondary considerations. Okay. So Bhagavatam says, Tasmad Gurum Prapadyeta Jigyasu Shreyam Uttamam Shabde Parecha Nishnatam Brahmani Upashama Ashrayam. Tasmad, for Uttamam Shreya Jigyasuhu. Any person who seriously desires real happiness, the ultimate happiness, Gurum Prapadyeta, he should surrender to a Guru. And what is the qualification of Guru? Nishnatam. Nishnatam means very expert, very conversant with Shabde. Shabde means Shabda Praman. But here Shabde means only Bhakti scriptures. He may not necessarily know the Dharma Shastras or the Jnana Shastras or the Yoga Shastras. That is not a prerequisite. What to speak of in today's day and age, we do hear even devotees say that that even devotees should know Dharma Shastras. But here it is mentioned, even for a guru also need not be an expert in Dharma Shastras. He has to be an expert in Bhakti Shastras. So Shabde here is explained by our Acharyas as Bhakti scriptures, not just all kinds of Vedic scriptures. Shabde means here, in this context, it refers to the Bhakti scriptures. So he should be conversant in the Bhakti scriptures. That does not mean he will have all the shlokas at his fingertips and he will be able to chant those shlokas by memory. That is not what it means. What it means is that he knows the essential conclusions of the Shastras. He knows what is a negotiable detail, what is a non-negotiable principle. That is most important. So this has nothing to do with knowledge of the language, ability to memorize the shlokas. This has nothing to do with that. This has something to do with one's ability to extract the essence. he has to be a Saragrahi Vaishnava who is capable of extracting the essence from the details. So that is the meaning of Shabde Nishnatam. He is conversant with the Bhakti scriptures and Pare Brahmani, and accomplished in hearing and chanting about the Lord. So he is accomplished in hearing and chanting about the Lord. So which means he's absorbed. He is absorbed in hearing and chanting. That is a very important symptom. He cannot just be engaged in all other kind of things, but having no absorption in hearing and chanting. Attachment to these two limbs is non-negotiable for a guru. You cannot say there are 64 limbs, so it does not really matter what the guru does not have taste for hearing and chanting, or he lacks absorption in hearing and chanting. Look at what the practical services that he is doing. Yes, all that is fine. We fall at your feet for that, but not at the cost of absorption in hearing and chanting. These are non-negotiable limbs according to Srila Rupa Goswami. So, and then what is the proof? What is the visible effect of being conversant with the Bhakti scriptures and accomplished in hearing and chanting? Upashama Ashrayam. He is fully tranquil. What is the meaning of fully tranquil? Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jihva Vegam, Udaropasta Vegam, Etan Veganyo Vishaheta Dira, Sarvanapi Mam Prithvi Sishyat. So the meaning of being fully tranquil, Upashama Ashrayam, means he is not affected by the 6 urges. That is the qualification of a guru. Tasmat gurum prapadyeta jigyasu shreyam uttamam shabde parecha nishnatam brahmani upashama ashrayam. So he says one should surrender to a guru who is skillful in understanding the meaning of the Vedas and other scriptures. If he does not have this quality, the faith of the disciple will become weak, since he will not be able to destroy the doubts of the disappointed disciple. This is most important. This is the meaning of understanding the essence, because if one does not understand the essence, then he will not be able to present the application of that principle. So this is the meaning of Saragrahi. One may know all the details, but if he has not understood the essence, he will not be able to apply that principle himself in his life and guide others to apply the principle in their lives. So therefore, he will not be able to draw the doubts. So if he does not have this quality, and the faith of the disciple will become weak, since he will not be able to destroy the doubts of the disappointed disciple. He should be capable as well in realizing the Lord. Okay. Otherwise, his mercy will not bear results. So one should be God real, truly, to be qualified to be a guru. So the position of being fixed in realization of the Lord is described. So how do we know? Because realizing the Lord is an internal thing. How do we externally know if he has realized the Lord or not? Upashama Ashrayam. Upashama Ashrayam means he is not under the control of anger and other urges. The 6 urges, he is not under their control. So this is the qualification of a guru. In Harinam Chintamani also, it is mentioned, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, one should approach the qualified guru, that person who is a devotee of Krishna and has conquered over the senses, and inquire submissively from him. You see, again, conquering over the senses. Of course, this should be a byproduct of, because even the Jnana yogis or the Ashtanga yogis are very sense controlled. So therefore there should be absorption in hearing and chanting, and that must lead to upashama ashrayam, the ability to control the urges. Being satisfied with his answers, the jiva takes initiation from him and thus crosses over the material ocean. Having attraction for Krishna, he will give up useless material logic, take shelter of higher knowledge, and receive mantra initiation from the spiritual master. So when he comes in touch with the Guru and gives his heart to the Guru, then immediately the dependence on material logic will go away and he will take shelter of the path of Krishna consciousness. Now, this is the primary qualification of a Guru, but Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur very interestingly talks about some secondary considerations also in his book Harinam Chintamani. So Harinam Chintamani essentially is a book which talks about overcoming the 10 offenses. Okay, primarily, most of the chapters talk about that. So, in that, talking about the third offense, which is disrespecting a guru or disobeying the orders of a guru, it is mostly due to, sometimes secondary considerations. What are these secondary considerations? We are going to see that. So, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, one who is a grihastha should accept a guru but remain in his duties of varnashrama. If a brahmana is a Krishna devotee, hear carefully, if a brahmana is a Krishna devotee, he can serve as a guru for the varnas. But if there is no suitable person of brahmana birth, one can receive initiation from a guru of another varna. So now the point is, the first thing that we hear is Naham Vipro na Chanarapati, Napi Vaishyo na Shudro, Naham Varni na Chagrahapati, na Vanasto Yatirva, Kintu Prodyan Nikila Paramananda Purnamritabder, Gopi Bhartur Padakamalayur Dasa Dasanu Dasa. So I am not a Brahmana, I am not a Kshatriya, I am not a Vaishya, I am not a Shudra, I am not a Brahmachari, I am not a Grihastha, I am not a Vanaprastha, I am not a Sannyasi, I am the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna, who is the husband of the gopis. This we hear. Now here you are telling to accept a guru. See if there is a self-realized devotee who is a Brahmana. Brahmana means what? Brahmana by birth. So now why is Bhaktivinoda Thakur making this point? Because we have to, I will just touch this point. I will just add a slide here. Just give me just 1 second. I just want to add a slide to just make this point. So if you see, this is a very important principle to understand. There is the gradual path which the Vedas give for one who lacks pure devotional faith. Okay. And there is the path of pure devotional service. Okay. For one who possesses that faith. Okay. So now, let us say a materialistic person. Okay. A materialistic person, he has false ego. Okay. So what is the false ego? I am the enjoyer. Okay. I am the independent enjoyer. He thinks like that. So what do the Vedas say? The Vedas recommend for him Sakama Karma Yoga. Okay. So, so the Vedas say, yes, you are the enjoyer. No doubt, you can enjoy as much as you want. But you know what? You are the enjoyer as a Brahmana. and you are the enjoyer as a brahmachari or a grihastha, let us say. He says, oh yes, but I am the enjoyer. Yes. So what the gradual path does is it gives this person from, this is a very fuzzy false ego that I am the enjoyer. It gives a more specific false ego, which is Brahmana and Grihastha. So the designations of Varna and Ashrama are still on the bodily platform. Therefore, it is false ego. And this false ego is fixed by samskaras. The 10 types of samskaras, what they do is they fix the false ego. Okay, whether it is Upanayana samskara, very clearly says you are a Brahmana. So why an alternative false ego has to be fixed? Because when this false is fixed, then along with the allotted enjoyment, one also gets allotted duties to perform. The Varnashrama duties, the duties of a Brahmana and the duties of a Grihastha. And what these duties do is that these duties purify. Okay. So these duties purify. So then when that necessary purification happens, then one comes to the stage of Nishkama Karma Yoga, where one identifies liberation as the goal. Okay. They identify liberation as the goal, but they still have anarthas, lust, anger, envy, greed, illusion, pride, etc. They have. So they continue to perform their varnashrama duties. Gradually, they overcome the false ego and come to the stage of Jnana Yoga. Okay. So where they realize that they are the soul. So this is, they come to the platform of true ego, but this true ego is also true but incomplete ego. Okay. And then by that they get liberation, which is also incomplete. So in this gradual path, there's people are given a designation on the platform of false ego. And that false ego is fixed by these samskaras. All these 10 samskaras that you see, they fix starting from Garbhadana samskara. Okay. In the traditional Vedic society, of course, devotees have a devotional, you can say, adaptation of these samskaras. This is not strictly the Vedic samskaras. In a traditional Vedic Garbhadana samskara, a Brahmana husband and a Brahmana wife come together and perform certain rituals. They don't chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra 64 rounds. They have other rituals for that. Attract a Brahmin soul, a Brahmana soul into the womb of the mother. That is Garbhadana samskara. So right from the Garbhadana samskara, the soul, his false ego is fixed. You are a Brahmana, you are a Brahmana, you are a Brahmana. And as soon as he comes out, even the Namakaran samskara, the type of names, the traditional Vedic society, from the name of a person, you can identify which Varna he belongs to. So all these samskaras actually fix your false ego. And when they fix your false ego, they fix your duties also. And these duties are designed in such a way that they can purify your heart. When they purify your heart, one loses interest in things of this world, one gets attracted to liberation. And then gradually one transcends the platform of false ego and comes to the stage of true ego, and then they can attain liberation. So this is the gradual path. But on the path of bhakti, if you see a person, a materialistic person, or anywhere, just to compare apples with apples. So a materialistic person, when he takes up to bhakti, Adav Shraddha. This actually, he starts with on the platform of true ego. From the beginning of bhakti only we understand and hear that I am the servant of Krishna. Okay. And just like the 10 types of samskaras fix the false ego, the 64 limbs of devotional service fix the true ego. Yes, you are the servant, you are the servant. You chant the names of your master, you hear about his glories, you hear about his pastimes, you serve the form of your master in the form of Archanam. So all these limbs actually fix the true ego. Okay. So therefore, and these 64 limbs fixes the true ego, and the 64 limbs only purify us also. Cheto darpana marjanam. Okay. So therefore, anyways, so now coming back to, even though when we take up to the path of devotional service, we are immediately accepting true ego, but we always have an inertia of previous false ego. We may have been a Brahmana. Okay. So even though theoretically we know, and we are, a sort of some kind of conviction there that, Yai Krishna Tattvaveta say Guru hoy. One who understands the science of Krishna, he is Guru. We know that. But somehow the inertia of our prior false ego may be very strong. Okay. Even though we know that we should not be seeing with this vision, but the inertia of that past false ego can be very strong, and that can influence our perception. So therefore, if we came from if we took up to bhakti from a platform of varnashrama, where we were, let's say, brahmanas, and if our guru has not to be a brahmana, that not that we may think that he is unfit to be a guru, but our strong inertia of prior false ego may influence to find faults in some external activities of that guru. So therefore, and if we start finding faults with the guru, then our fall down is guaranteed. So therefore, to protect the faith of the disciple, Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives the secondary consideration. Look, while the only consideration to become a guru is one should be a devotee and a perfected devotee. But having said that, in order to protect the faith of the disciple, in order to protect your faith, you better accept a guru who is not just qualified in Krishna consciousness, but also would be of a higher varna. Because otherwise there may be a tendency for you to offend him on the secondary considerations. Okay. Because of the inertia of our prior false ego. So if there is a choice, the grihastha should choose the bona fide guru of higher caste. Not that it will make, not that a guru of a higher caste is more qualified, but just that the disciple of the higher caste should not actually end up offending the guru on the secondary considerations. Then his spiritual life will be doomed. So better choose a guru also of a higher caste. Okay. So, but in any case, so he says, but in any case, the main qualification by which to judge who is bona fide guru is how much the guru is about Krishna. Yai Krishna Tattvaveta Sri Guru Hai. He may be a Brahmana or Shudra, householder or sannyasi, but this makes no difference in the guru's ability to deliver jiva. It makes no difference. This should be the main consideration in choosing a guru if one desires to progress to pure attraction for Krishna. In other words, if there is a qualified guru of high caste, again he comes back to the same thing. There is no necessity of a guru of a lower caste. So this is for protecting the faith of the disciple. But if the high caste guru is not qualified as a Krishna Bhakta, one should not take Diksha from him on the basis of his height alone. Okay, this is about Varna consideration. So then he says there should be ashrama consideration also. Okay, he says in the case of a householder who cannot find proper spiritual life in the Grihastha ashram, he should take a bona fide guru who is not a householder. Okay. So which means if one is ready to give up the householder life and move on to the next ashrama, either Vanaprastha or Sannyas, then he should accept a guru who is in that order. Not accept a householder guru. Because in terms of ashrama, Grihastha is considered to be inferior to Vanaprastha and Sannyas. Okay, again that consideration may come up. In other words, if one renounces house life and is seeking spiritual guidance, one should take shelter of an acharya who has successfully renounced household life and receives diksha and siksha from him in order to reach the desired goal of prema. Of course, this does not affect a person's ability to deliver, a guru's ability to deliver if he is in the Grihastha ashrama. But the person who is in the person who is in a Vanaprastha sannyas ashram, they may find it difficult because of this ashram Grihastha is considered to be inferior on the varnashram level. Okay, so therefore they may think that, oh, I am more renounced than my guru. Finished. Then he cannot progress. Then he cannot accept the instructions from his guru. And if he cannot accept instructions from his guru, then it's over. Right? So what happens if while being a householder, one accepts a householder guru and then later he takes up to sannyas? What should happen then? He says, but if the householder had a qualified guru previously, that previous guru should not be disrespected or rejected. He should be honored always. But he can take additional guidance from a guru in the renounced order of life. Okay. So the householder may take a guru who is a householder or renounced. Either is tolerable. But a householder, to accept a householder guru is better. Otherwise, if the householder takes, he asks the guru for some suggestion, and if the guru gives a suggestion, the householder cannot think, "Arey, what does he know about problems in Grihastha life?" No, he is in his own world. What does he know? He should not think like that. So better in that case, accept a householder guru like that. Accepting guru and performing sadhana bhakti, the householder will eventually achieve the stage of bhava, at which time his attraction for family life and sense gratification will cease. At that stage, he will naturally give up household life and enter the renounced order. So one should ideally, in our Krishna consciousness system, ideally, when one reaches the stage of bhava, naturally one's attraction to household life vanishes, then one can take up to the renounced order of life. Okay, so the householder, we have seen this person should seek out an acharya in the renounced order and take his instruction. So when one has reached the stage of bhava and accepted the renounced order, then one should approach an acharya. Okay, so this is what this is a very important consideration that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions here. Very interesting also, that even the secondary consideration. So in today's day and age, how does this principle apply in today's day and age? Okay, so in today's day and age, it applies based on what we value, what is our value system. what is the value system that we are carrying into the realm of bhakti. Okay, so someone may value material education a lot, material education. So he himself may be very highly materially educated, very high, very strong in, material intelligence and material logic. So, and if he appreciates material educational qualification a lot, then it is better he accepts a guru who, apart from being very spiritually qualified, may also be materially qualified. So that later it should not happen that the guru says, okay, something which, sort of challenges science, and the disciple, and if the guru is not able to scientifically, sort of substantiate why he says what he says, then the disciple may sort of feel uncomfortable and it may challenge it, right? So, so therefore, in today's day and age, the application of this principle that Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, is something which is, we have to see its current day application. Like otherwise it becomes problem, right? Let's say there may be Indians, probably I will give some examples. Let's say this is education is one principle, and others, someone may come from a very strong, Hindutva type of, background, Vedic, anything that is Vedic is, or Indian is very precious. Anything that is non-Indian or Western is bad. If someone is carrying this kind of prejudice into the realm of bhakti, then better they accept a guru who also has an Indian body. Otherwise, this Western bashing, Indian glorifying mentality one may eventually start. It may creep into the realm of one's guru. So these are considerations. These are real considerations. Not that a Western devotee is incapable of delivering, but this mentality of the disciple, this inertia of past false ego, very strong past false ego and past prejudices, may make that person actually judge and criticize the guru, and it may make him lose his faith in that guru. So then, so therefore, such people, such devotees should consider the secondary considerations also, not just the primary consideration. Okay, so this is a very valuable instruction that Bhaktivinoda Thakur is giving here. Then Thakur says, Guru may be of two types. One who gives Diksha with mantra and one who gives spiritual instruction. So this is Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru. They are considered equal in importance by one who wants to advance quickly. Of course, the Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru should have the same qualification. Anyone who guides is not necessarily a Shiksha Guru. So while one can receive Shiksha from a more advanced devotee, but the more advanced devotee by default does not become a Shiksha Guru. And one should not think that way also. The person who is giving Shiksha is not necessarily a Shiksha Guru. A Shiksha Guru means the same qualification as a Diksha Guru. Vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jika vegam, mudaropasta vegam. Etan veganyo vishaheta dira, sarvana bhimam prativimsa sishya. Okay. So whether it is a Diksha or a Shiksha Guru. So when we talk about, we should consider Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru on the same level. We should actually see, but the qualifications are also same, right? So, Tasmad Gurum Prapadyeta Jasu Shreyam Uttamam Shabde Parecha Nishnatam Brahmani Upasamashrayam. Okay. So, therefore, so a person can accept only one Diksha Guru, but may have many Shiksha Gurus who give Sambandha. So Sambandha Gyan is given by the Shiksha Guru, and Sambandha Gyan is given by Shiksha Guru, and Abhideya Gyan is given by Diksha Guru. And for most of us, our Diksha Guru may be our primary Shiksha Guru also. So he says the Sambandha Gyan or teachings handed down in the Sampradaya from the founder Acharya of the Sampradaya. Okay, that is Srila Prabhupada for us. These original teachings and the founder Acharya of the Sampradaya should be worshipped with all respects. You know, there is example in the Ramanuja Sampradaya, Ramanujacharya is their founder Acharya. So there is a very exalted position allotted. So one should be loyal to his conclusions and instructions, not taking teachings from others. Okay. Not taking teachings from others. This includes other sampradayas. Okay. One should take as Siksha Guru only a person who is following faithfully the teachings of the founder Acharya. To take initiation or teachings from a Mayavadi is useless. Whoever takes or accepts such unauthorized teachings simply goes to hell. Rejecting Krishna and learning anti-Krishna philosophy can only lead to ruination of one's life. So how can a person be guru and deliver others, not having achieved or being able to achieve perfection himself? So unqualified persons, especially those who speak this non-pure Krishna conscious conclusions, should not be accepted as guru either for receiving diksha or for receiving shiksha. Thus, guru, whether shiksha or diksha, must be the servant of Krishna and an associate of the Lord eternally in Vrindavan, who has been especially empowered by Krishna. So the qualifications are quite high, you know. So now, how does one serve and worship the guru? How does one serve and worship this guru? Naninam Chintamani Srila Bhakti Thakur says, one should serve the guru with great devotion, knowing him to be directly empowered by Krishna, the dearmost servant of Krishna and one's own eternal spiritual guide. Sakshad Haritvena Samasta Shastre, Uktas Tadabhav Yata Eva Sadbihi. So, by such sincere service to the guru, one can cross over the material ocean. Now, what is the procedure for worshipping the guru? How do we worship the guru? Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, first, one should worship the guru by offering padya, argya, etc. Then, taking his permission, worship the Lord. Even in deity worship, if you see, first you worship the guru, then take permission from him, then you worship the deity form of the Lord. Right? Like that. Then one should offer Krishna's prasad to the guru, the Vaishnavas, the demigods, and the forefathers. With the guru in mind, one should worship Krishna, and with the guru in mind, one should chant Krishna's name. So, meditation on the guru is very critical in performing the other limbs of devotional service also. Let me see how we are doing with time. Okay. So now, talking about disobeying and disrespecting the guru, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, consequently, if one disobeys or disrespects the guru, that is offensive and will block one's progress in bhakti. As in the case of showing proper respect and devotion to the sadhu and to Krishna, clearly, by properly serving the guru and chanting the holy name, one can get quick success. So, this is very critical. You know, and all the considerations about sadhu ninda, they apply to the guru also in a much more pronounced way, right? Having firm faith in the guru, one can, by the strength of the pure name, attain the goal of prema. So, how potent will be our practice depends on how much faith we have in the guru. So therefore, we should not do anything, hear from anyone who might challenge our faith in the Guru or affect our faith in the Guru. So then he also says, but under what circumstances can the Guru be rejected? Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, when should a Guru be rejected? He says, it may happen that through asat sangha, a Guru may lose his qualifications. Not that he never had this qualification, but through indiscriminate association, one may, or even by accidental asat sangha, where one slowly without knowledge gets pulled into that bad association, a Guru may lose his qualifications. Start as a big Guru, by committing nama parad, he loses his knowledge. So when he starts committing offenses, so then he loses his qualification. By offending other Vaishnavas, he loses the taste for the name and gradually falls under the control of wealth and women. Right? Such a Guru should be rejected. By the mercy of Krishna, that disciple will obtain a new bona fide Guru and take up pure chanting of the name again. So by the mercy of the Guru, by the mercy of Krishna, if the disciple is sincere, he will get another Guru. So if a Guru takes unsuitable people for disciples, he will have to suffer for that. And if a disciple takes an unqualified Guru, he will accordingly suffer. So whenever we talk about the Guru taking the disciple's karma, this is not exactly true. The Guru does not take the disciple's karma and suffer for it, because it makes no sense. So why would Krishna make the Guru suffer for taking the responsibility of the spiritual life of another living entity? Even though we say like this, the real meaning of this is here explained in Shri Harinam Chintamani. If the Guru takes the responsibility of a disciple and fails to rectify his wrongdoings, then he will be punished for that irresponsible behavior. Okay, that is the fact. So he does not literally take the karma of the disciple and suffers for the disciple's karma, because it is very, it makes no sense actually. Why would Krishna make such an elevated disciple suffer someone else's karma? I mean, and that too for doing the noble act of taking the responsibility of the disciple. It means that if a Guru takes, or if he indiscriminately wants to give diksha to people on the considerations of being, oh, he is very rich, he is very powerful, I can get some of my things done if he becomes my disciple. With such considerations, he gives initiation and then refuses to correct him and instruct him properly, so that we're thinking that, oh, if I correct him, he may leave me, then I will not get my wealth and all these things. With such considerations, then the Guru will be punished for his irresponsible behavior. But that is not like the Guru taking the karma of the disciple. It is not like that. Literally, it's not like that. But definitely, the Guru will suffer for the disciples' wrongdoings if the Guru does not correct the disciple. So that is possible, and that is the point. In order to avoid these misfortunes, one should be cautious. On the other hand, as long as both Guru and disciple are properly qualified, the relationship will continue. So we say, Shakshudan Diloje Janme Janme Prabhu say. So is the relationship between the disciple and the Guru eternal? So here Srila Bhaktivinoda says, as long as both guru and disciple are properly qualified, the relationship will continue. Ideally, this relationship is eternal. But if the disciple becomes bad, the guru must reject him. And if the guru becomes bad, the disciple must reject him. So that eternal relationship is conditional. It is. It depends on both the guru and the disciple should be properly qualified. Otherwise, both may fall. Better one than both. If the disciple becomes bad, the guru should reject him. If he cannot correct him, or if the disciple is unwilling to accept corrections, or if the guru becomes bad, then the disciple should reject the guru. So if that does not happen, so he says, otherwise both will fall. So better one than both. That's what Thakur says. In order to prevent the pain of having to reject one's guru, we should first carefully examine him to see if he is a pure devotee of Krishna. Even in receiving a material article, one examines it for quality. Right? So therefore, one should through the guidance of the scriptures, one should see if the guru is properly qualified, and then one should accept the guru. Okay. Then talking about what is the right way of dealing with the guru, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, once having accepted a qualified guru, if one disobeys his instruction, one commits a grave offense. So take your time before you choose your guru, but having chosen, follow the instructions. So if one commits that kind of an offense of disobeying his instruction, even the demigods can fall down to hell. We see this. Okay. That's the episode that we are discussing, in Indra's case also, how he disobeys or how he disrespects Brihaspati and he suffers. Should the guru be respected? The guru's bed and seat, his shoes, his car, water from washing his feet, his image should be respected. If one fails to respect them or worship someone else as guru in the guru's presence, that is devious mentality, trying to minimize the bona fide guru. If the guru is bona fide and if the disciple worships someone else in the guru's presence out of a sense of disrespect, that is devious mentality. One should regard the guru as one's lord and master, obey his words and instructions, and when seen, fall flat on the ground. One should loudly glorify the guru, never disobey his order, take his prasad remnants, and not discuss anything that the guru dislikes. So surrendering oneself humbly at the guru's feet, one should act so that he is pleased. If one acts in this way and performs Krishna Nama Sankirtan, one will gain all perfections. That is the statement of the Vedas. So the presence of a guru is very, very critical. Not critical, it is absolutely non-negotiable in a person's spiritual life. In fact, spiritual life does not begin if the person is not convinced of them for a guru. Because the first symptom of qualification for spiritual life is one realizes the need for a guru. Okay. So basically it says that what to speak of the guru, all his paraphernalia, his seat, his slippers, everything has to be worshipped. It cannot be used by others. Just like that, you cannot do that. So he says, the guru will give proper teachings concerning the holy name, and after having established faith in the holy name in a person's heart, he will formally give him the name of Krishna or a mantra containing the name of Krishna to chant as his sadhana. This is called as Diksha. So then you accept the guru will give you Diksha. Okay. So now, in this regard, Srila Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj, he has written reflections on the holy teachings. So he has written his reflections on the holy teachings, he has also written on Harinam Chintamani. On this particular point about the disciple should not use the guru's objects, he should deal with them very respectfully, the guru's seat, the guru's slippers and everything. So now Maharaj says, now how do you apply this in today's ISKCON? Right? How to deal with this in our institution? For instance, our institutional policy now states that one can sit on the same seat or Vyasasana as the Guru. What to speak of not using a Guru's seat? The Guru ends up using the seat which the disciple has already used. So the disciple sits on that Vyasasana, and after the Guru comes back, and if the Guru is going to give a class, he sits on the same seat on which the disciple has already sat. Can you believe? So this is not born actually, and is actually very dangerous. So you may say, Prabhuji, we know Shastras, but be practical. In an institutional setup like this, how do you apply this? This is practically impossible to apply. Is this true? Yes, this is true. We are not denying it. It's not that every time, for a guru, you bring a separate Vyasasana. It is possible. If it is not an international society, if it is not an international society, if it is an individual mutt, Guru can have a separate Vyasasana and all the others can have a different Vyasasana. It is possible to implement it. But in an international society like ISKCON, to implement this is practically not possible. So, but many times what we do, we say, oh, it's not practical. So see whether it is practical or not. If it is practical, follow it. If it is not practical, not follow it. If it is not practical, don't follow. But the point is, are we feeling repentant? That, oh, I am sitting in the same Vyasasana, which my Guru will have to use after I use. Are we even having some level of remorse? You say, oh, so just because it is not practical does not mean you don't feel a sense of remorse, regret, and embarrassment. So therefore, yes, it is practical, but if we don't have this attitude, you can't just blame. Yes, for practical considerations in an institutional setup, this is not possible. But that does not mean you should not feel regretful. Because the Shastras say means the Shastras say. So if we have the right kind of attitude, even if we may have, due to circumstances, if we may be forced to perform that offense, that can be excused. But if we don't have that attitude, right attitude, then there is no excuse. So Maharaj says, first we need to understand Shastra, and if we must act outside of Shastra, we should at least understand the danger. We should at least understand the danger. Although we might agree to implement a change, we should understand that it is meant for the benefit of the greatest number of people. In an institutional setup, we are implementing, yes, the same Vyasasana. We cannot have different Vyasasana for the Guru and other people. Okay. This is for the benefit of the greatest number of people. But nonetheless, according to the Shastras, this is not the right policy. You are not supposed to use the Guru's objects, his paraphernalia. If we act improperly, but consider it to be proper, it will later bring confusion and impotency. Later then, everything with the Shastras say, we will think that, oh, in an institutional setup, chalta hai, it is okay. Okay. So it is improper actually. First, we have to accept that it is improper. But then later, we may say for practical considerations, we have to, do this improper thing. Just because it is not practical does not make improper as proper. Right? So he says that if we act improperly, we cannot consider it proper, because it will later bring confusion and impotency. We should be ready to embrace Shastra at all times and accept the consequences as they come. Let the consequences come, let me face. One should not feel, oh, array, this is institutional rule, I should not be punished for that. No, because we are in the realm of mercy. On the realm of mercy, there is no question of entitlement and justice. There is no question of entitlement and justice. There is mercy from the giver of mercy, and there is pleading for mercy from the receiver of mercy. These are the only two emotions. There is no question of entitlement, and there is no question of, these kind of justification, right? Justice, justification, and entitlement. These are not relevant emotions, actually, right? So he says this is the safe route, but if for some reason we do not follow this route, we should explain the Shastra and then give our reason for acting differently. So we should tell, yes, the Shastras are right and we are doing an improper thing, but for these reasons, for practical considerations, we are unable to follow the proper thing, and this is improper. We cannot explain it as being proper, right? Otherwise, it creates confusion and minimizes the legacy that Srila Prabhupada has given us. Then we will say, we don't care what the Shastras say, we care only what Srila Prabhupada says. And then we all clap our hands, wow, wow, Jai Prabhupada, like that. I mean, do we think Prabhupada will be happy with such a thing, to even establish that Prabhupada has given something which is different from the Shastras, right? So, therefore, we cannot, if we do like this, it will minimize the legacy of Srila Prabhupada. It will also become increasingly difficult to know the actual standard. So if we make changes according to previous changes, we will begin to water down the system. So therefore, the gold standard cannot be pulled down. The gold standard has to be, one should know the gold standard, one should speak about the gold standard, but if one is not able to follow the gold standard, one should at least tell why it is not possible. And one should see, with along practical considerations, can one also come closer to following the golden standard? One should try one's best, even in an institutional setup. By acting outside of Shastra, we will also receive less protection. However, if we must act differently due to some mitigating circumstance, we should clearly understand how the change will help us focus on the essence. Basically, Maharaj is telling you better have a good reason. So you better have a good reason to follow. Otherwise, we gradually minimize the essence, and although we may act in a functional way, it will not necessarily be transcendental. In the name of practicality, we cannot, do away with all kinds of essential rules. Oh, it's not practical. Oh, it's not practical. So that may not be the proper understanding, actually. So now, how do we rectify the offense? So if we have disobeyed the order of a spiritual master, or if we have offended him, how do we rectify? So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, if by bad association or contact with bogus literature, one happens to reject or disrespect such a bona fide Nama Diksha Guru or Shiksha Guru, one should immediately give up the bad association and literature and in sorrow approach the feet of one's guru. So the main reason of offense is disrespect. And the main cause of disrespect is asatsanga. Bogus people, bogus literature. Okay. So being all merciful, so then one should give up that bad association immediately, and in great regret and sorrow, one should approach the feet of one's guru. Being all merciful, the guru will reinstate him, and by again chanting sincerely, he will attain prema. Like that. Okay, I think let's see how are we doing. So I still have about 18 slides, but a few topics which I wanted to discuss some other time, because I want to leave some time for some questions and discussions. Otherwise, it won't be appropriate. So I want to discuss on this topic of Kali Yuga, institution, and Guru Tattva. How do you apply these principles? It's a complex system. Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj beautifully explains this in his writings. And how do we deal with discrepancies in the Guru? This is also a very valid point, especially in an institutionalized setup that we have. So these two topics I wanted to discuss. We don't have time, but I think we have to pause here and pause here for some discussion points, comments, questions. So I will end here. If there are any quick discussion points, comments, questions, anything anyone would like to share as add, you can please go ahead. I already see some hands up. So I will unmute. Muting and unmuting I will do, so that there is no problem. So Supriya Mataji.
Prabhuji, can you please share your slides first? I have many questions.
Yes. Okay. Yes. I will share the slide. Just give me a second.
Actually, you should have done this question answer session in between as well, because it's very difficult to write down all the questions or remember all of them.
I understand, Mataji, but if start doing that, then there will not be much portions covered. So I chose. That's how we do for long courses.
It's not important how much quantity we covered if it is not understood properly, right?
Correct, Mataji. But okay, go ahead with your questions.
Okay. So you just go next slide. There was liberation. You said material liberation and bhakti, something like that. Two partition.
Oh, okay.
So what is that?
This one. Okay, what I wrote. Yeah, just give me a minute. That. This one.
What is that in the material side? Gradual path. What is that? Liberation at the top. You said it's a imperfect liberation, something like that.
This is Sahaja Mukti, impersonal liberation.
Meaning impersonal Brahma Jyoti.
Yeah.
But you know what? So can you tell me what are the different, how one knows whether he got a liberation in the impersonal Brahman or in the Paramatma, or he has realized this? How one feels that, or what is his experience?
What is his experience?
Meaning, how the person knows.
How one knows? It depends on the path that, whether he has achieved liberation or not.
No, whether he has achieved liberation or not, and whether he has achieved which kind of liberation, how he knows.
Yeah, if he has achieved impersonal liberation, then it is devoid of any kind of relationships. So there is no spiritual relationship established with Krishna, and he does not desire it also. So, but in personal liberation, there is a relationship that one establishes with Krishna.
Meaning in Paramatma realization?
Not in Paramatma realization. There is, of course, I don't want to get into the details, but Paramatma realization is a prerequisite for impersonal liberation also.
No,
Bhagavan realization.
what it says is, what I have read is impersonal liberation. When someone is liberated impersonally, he doesn't have any realization material about God's, Krishna's material or spiritual dimension. Okay, meaning those energies. He had just realized impersonal liberation. When he has a Paramatma realization, he at least understands material realization, meaning material potency of Krishna's material potency, material energy. But when he has a spirit, this thing, supreme, as a supreme face to face, when he sees God, he has both the realization of Paramatma and material and spiritual energy.
Correct.
But this is just a theory. It seems okay, but I still don't understand. So it's like, okay, you cannot just say, right, sugar taste sweet. Okay, fine, it is in theory, but if I have never tested what it means by sweet, I mean, if I don't know how the sweetness tastes, I wouldn't know, right?
Correct. But the
So
point
it's
is,
something like
here
that.
we are talking, there is a qualification for realizing it also, right? So you cannot say, certain things need a kind of, to realize certain things, you need biological maturity. Like, say, for example, if you have to explain to a 5-year-old boy about the attraction between a male and female, he does not have that biological maturity to understand, right? So similarly, certain need actually intellectual maturity. If you want to explain to a 5th standard person differential calculus or integral calculus, he cannot understand because he does not have the intellectual maturity. So now, similarly, to understand certain things, so certain things will remain theory only, unless certain things need spiritual maturity or devotional maturity. So if we don't have that level of maturity, then we will not be able to realize. So therefore, how does exactly the impersonal liberation feels like, and personal liberation feels like, that needs a particular level of spiritual maturity to actually understand, realize.
No, why you should have a spiritual maturity to understand? Why you're assuming that? Because when someone if someone says it's a impersonal Brahman, okay, fine, you feel that you don't have any material duties, or you are not affected by the externals, something like that. These symptoms you can explain, right? Without which, even how we would know whether we have reached this particular level or that particular level?
Oh, those symptoms are there. There are books which discuss, the symptoms, like
Can you
Madhuri
tell me?
Kadambini.
Okay.
Symptoms of what exactly, Madhuri?
This impersonal Brahman, what kind of realization we have reached?
Oh, the realization is absence of material suffering. Complete freedom from any kind of material suffering. That
But
is the experience.
how do you define that? How do you define that? Material suffering ही नहीं है, इसका मतलब ही क्या होता है? लाइफ में क्या हो जाता है लेकिन?
नहीं, उसको भी आपको, to experience that. See, you have to understand, our sense of logic can reach only till what we have experienced. So Anuman, the prerequisite for Anuman is Purva Pratyaksha. A prior experience is the prerequisite for logic, Anuman. So if how it feels like, only to some extent you can understand, comprehend now, because that is beyond experience. You at least expand your memory, where you remember a time when you have never experienced any kind of material suffering. So maybe to some extent, when you have overcome very overwhelming material suffering, if you have overcome, so that gives a kind of glimpse of what it means. Like for example, you are drowning in a river, and then at the moment you are almost going to lose your life, and someone catches hold of you and pulls you out. How you feel. So that may give a glimpse, but that is also not close to what one will experience at the stage of liberation. So we are completely within the grips of the three modes, and liberation is a state where we are beyond the grips of the three modes. So to imagine and actually conceptualize how exactly it will feel, it is difficult because we don't have that level of maturity.
And can you go a little ahead? The next slide.
Yes, Mother.
Once again.
You tell me what is the question about. I will go to that slide.
Actually, that is the question. I mean, I forgot to write down all the questions.
Oh.
Now I don't have.
Okay, you can think, Mataji. In the meantime,
Okay.
we will take other questions.
One more question you said. Yeah, I remember. You said that karma, right? I mean, Guru does not take a disciple's karma. So a few days back, I asked the same question to another group where we were discussing the same. Okay. So I heard that so many Maharaj they were having chronic health issues. Some had a stroke, some had heart issues, transplant issues, something like that. Right? So I mean, see, this is a serious question. I mean, I have gone through so many texts, and it says that even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that once you surrender to me, I will take all your reactions. Okay, and मैं तुम्हें पापों से मुक्त कर दूंगा. There is a verse, right?
सर्वधर्मान्
परित्यज्य माम् एकं शरणं व्रज. त्वं सर्व पापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचय. So if that is the case, then I understand people are going through their prarabdha karmas, but why they are suffering? Like that prarabdha karma also is a reaction, right? So they took this birth with that prarabdha karma. I understand they took this birth and they acquired this body, but now once they have shown this loyalty to Krishna for 30-40 years and they're working for Krishna, now Krishna should have taken their reactions, right? So they should not be ideally suffering these reactions. And if they are actually liberated souls on the liberation platform, then there is no concept of these reactions, because for the liberated soul there is no karma reactions affecting.
Correct.
So even if it is the prarabdha karma, it should not affect actually then.
Correct.
Right. So why this is happening? So some people said that okay, this is prarabdha karma. I still don't understand this, because I can give some references in which it is specially given that immediately I will free you of all the reactions. Now reactions come only for the prarabdha karma or your kriyaman karma. There is no concept of reaction for your sanchit karma. Right. So now, okay, fine. If it is a kriyaman karma,
essentially, Mataji, you can keep it short. Essentially, you are asking why they are suffering. That's the question, right?
That is, let me also tell little bit detail, because kriyaman karma, they are not having kriyaman karma because they are now acting purely without any sin. Okay. Now prarabdha karma, that also Krishna should have taken everything. And some people, when I asked the similar question in other groups, what they said, that these disciples, they commit some mistakes, and that karma goes to Guru. But that why I should take someone else's mistake, why I should suffer? That is what you said. So which I agree, because Guru should not get affected just because of disciple suffered. But then there are suppose 1 lakh disciples under one Guru. Say for example, Jai Pataka Swami, right? He has so many disciples. Now, if disciple commits some mistake, which Guru even wouldn't know that he has done this some sin, even after taking oath, then why Guru, then he would fail in correcting a disciple. And then why in that condition, Guru should suffer?
Okay, you are done, Mataji?
Yes.
Okay. So that is why I will tell the general principle. Sometimes, and this is discussed in more detail. So the current suffering is also not due to prarabdha karma. Or what to speak of gurus, even regular devotees. This is very nicely described in by the acharyas. The current suffering, so Krishna takes, I will take aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami, and that includes prarabdha karma also. But having said that, Krishna does not say you will not suffer. Krishna says your suffering I will give. Karma will not give, but Krishna will give suffering. Yasyaham anugranami harishet dhanam shanaihi. Tato adanam tajantyasya svajana dukkha dukkitam. So he says that if I want to show some special to someone, I will take all his wealth away. This is one way in which he gives suffering. There are so many other ways that he gives suffering, but that suffering does not mean it is prarabdha karma. Suffering can be given by Krishna also.
But
That is
why
one
will
clarification.
why will Krishna give?
I will do one thing, Mataji. In one of our Bhakti Sangha class, I have one full class I have discussed why do devotees suffer. So that answers all your questions. I will send you the link. You can hear
that. Okay, Prabhuji. Can you give me some your contact number or something like that for this particular question, because there are multiple sub questions under this category.
Mataji, you can take. You can take from the coordinators.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I think we will move forward. Mother Gail.
Hi, Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, a couple things. One is those who, because we said that, those who take up this process of worshiping Krishna, they are guaranteed a human birth, right? So I'm wondering about those who, they have not taken up worship, but they have performed a Gyata Sukriti. They've had a morsel of prasadam or anything, maybe even very insignificant, but it's a Gyata Sukriti. So how about the destination of such people? Are they guaranteed human birth or no?
Are they guaranteed human birth?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think it is mentioned that way, but I can find that out. I don't think so, but I'll try to find that out.
Yes, please, because I've had this forever, this question. And so, okay, so we said the worshipers, yes, but how about people who, like the people on this call, I think most of us have pure faith. But what about those who have faith, but it's not pure? They have mixed devotion. Are they guaranteed?
Oh, they have mixed devotional faith. Oh, yeah. Even there, at least if you see the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that Shuchinam Shrimatam Gehe Yoga Brashto Bijayate. Even they are facilitated to, to continue their practice from where they left off. So some kind of facilitation is certainly there, even for them. So it's not just for devotees. Even any practice which has even bhakti as a secondary element, there in the 6th chapter, he's talking about even beginner Ashtanga yogis and those who have practiced for a long time. He says that they will take birth in the families of other yogis from where they get that facilitation like that.
Okay. And then what is the, just recently in your talk today, I missed it when you said there was something, a particular qualification of a guru that is very high qualification, but I missed what was that high qualification. a couple of qualifications was that, of course, they have to be very attached to hearing and chanting. They also have to be sadagrahi. But this high qualification, what was that one?
I'm just trying to recollect, Mataji. I'm not able to immediately recollect.
Oh my God. I think it has something, if I caught it correctly, maybe it has something to do with their eternal position in the spiritual world. Did it have something like that?
Oh, yeah. Correct. Now I remember. He should have an eternal relationship with Krishna, which means he must be self-realized.
He's self-realized. So he knows his Siddha Swarup.
Relationship. He knows his relationship with Krishna, ideally. But of course, I really wanted to discuss on the other two topics also which were there, which talks about, and then there are other sub things also. What if a guru has not realized his relationship, which means if he is not exactly on that platform, but definitely on very high standard, maybe at the level of ruchi or asakti, but has not realized his relationship with Krishna, what about that? So,
and how would we know also?
Huh?
Also, how would we know? How are we supposed to figure this out as you know,
such a thing. Yeah. So certain things which are, you have to evaluate using the parameters which are externally visible only. And depending on your sincerity, Krishna will reciprocate also. So therefore, it is not just.
Because a person who, fulfills these other qualifications, attachment to hearing and chanting, I mean, that could cover a wide spectrum of devotees, isn't it? One who is saragrahi also. So how can, you said that, Krishna will reciprocate with our sincerity. So does that
even
mean that?
So even in case if one, if one is sincere and tries, Krishna will guide. And let's say even if one may choose a guru who may not be at that level. Okay, let's say one accepts a guru who is only at the level of ruchi. But that guru can also from ruchi to asakti to bhava to prema. Generally, that transition is very fast. That is one thing. That is one understanding, right? Because ruchi means he will not eternally stay in ruchi only. Unless he starts committing some offenses, and because of which he starts regressing in his devotional life, right? So, and the second thing is, even though the Diksha Guru, if let's say hypothetically he is not at that great level, but good enough to be a guru, but may not be good enough, may not necessarily be at the stage of bhava or prema, then one's progress can still happen by accepting a Shiksha Guru who may be more qualified also. So if the Diksha Guru may not be so very highly qualified, but still definitely qualified to be a Guru in the Sampradaya, so then one can always accept a Shiksha Guru who is more qualified, and that way his progress will depend on the kind of Shiksha that he receives from a more qualified Shiksha Guru. So
but the
that
thing
is also possible.
But the catch is that, your Shiksha Guru should be sanctioned by your Diksha, right? So for you to take Shiksha, so the Diksha, a real Guru, he should give permission for that, right?
True.
Because
but
they only want the best.
What, Mataji?
I mean, he should give permission because a real guru only wants the best.
If he does not give that permission to take shiksha from a very bona fide, very advanced devotee, then his position as an advanced devotee itself is very suspect.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said if he's a real guru, that's what I meant.
True. Yeah, agreed.
Okay, and also, well, two things. One is, what if a person...
And before you move on to the next question, Mataji, I just want to clarify this. We are discussing a very exalted subject matter. So at no stage we should, I'm making a very general statement. At no stage we should, as a disciple, we should be very careful about, because this is a landmine that we are walking on. This thing, it can, we can get severely damaged. This is a landmine, and to approach this thing, we have to walk with that much care and great, what to say, great care actually, because anytime, and a landmine can just blow up, and then it can. So therefore we have to approach this, because that is why it is mentioned that take sufficient time before accepting a guru, and having accepted, we don't look back generally.
Well, that actually is a segue into my next question, which is, what if, at the time of Diksha, a person, was truly felt that the guru was their Diksha guru, but then for, I don't know, some hypothetical situation occurs. I mean, maybe this is too specific for this class, but because I'm not even, but anyway, supposing it happens that for a particular person, they changed, not that something is wrong with their guru, but they're not feeling connected to their guru, or they just really don't feel inspired by their guru the way they used to. Then what to do for that person? Because
again,
it happens.
If it happens, again, the first thing that we have to understand is that, does that have something to do with myself? Did I not do certain things which I am supposed to do as a disciple? That is the right place to start the investigation, actually. So, and unless we have thoroughly exhausted that topic very clearly, we cannot move forward on this particular topic. So if you have completely exhausted that I have done everything, but still, is it possible that gradually over a period of time, one may develop a different kind of feeling where they may feel like-mindedness with some other senior devotee, but not necessarily one's own Diksha Guru? Is that at all possible? Yes, it is possible. I don't say that it is not possible, but in that case, still, one does not necessarily have to give up one's Diksha Guru. One can always take Shiksha. That is so. So why is the problem? Where is the problem there? One can always take Shiksha.
Yeah, and again, that has to be sanctioned by the Diksha. Right?
Yeah. That is, see, any bona fide Diksha Guru will actually not mind if the other person from whom you're seeking Shiksha is actually a bona fide Guru. So we are thinking that we cannot pull down the gurus to our level and think that they will also think the same way I am thinking. That may not necessarily be the case.
Right.
So yeah.
But this example you gave is in the case where the disciple, I think you were saying, feels more like-mindedness with some other guru, right? Yeah. Okay, Prabhu. Just one last thing is when you said that the Shiksha Guru gives Sambandha and Diksha gives Abhideya. So, I thought that Diksha gave both Sambandha and Abhideya. So can you elaborate on this a little bit, please?
Yeah, I mean, so it is not a Sambandha here. It does not exactly mean Sambandha Gyan, but Sambandha and Abhideya does not. So actually, both give both. Both the Siksha and the Diksha gurus give both. But in one sense, to practice particular kinds of abhideya or practices, you need the Diksha. So he does not give the knowledge, but he gives, like, for example, deity worship and other such things. For doing that, you need that Diksha or the second initiation. So he gives the qualification and teaches also ideally, the details as to, he gives the Gayatri mantra, and by that, you can chant and worship the deities and all those things. So it does not literally mean knowledge. It means the adhikar or qualification to do certain activities, certain. But in one sense, that need not be, because for most of the cases, the mostly for us, the Diksha Guru acts as the primary Shiksha Guru. There is no that kind of a very traditional differentiation anymore in ISKCON. So that need not be taken, very seriously. That's my understanding.
Okay. So when we say, Shiksha or Diksha, they give Sambandha. What do we mean by Sambandha here?
Sambandha Gyan means the general philosophical understanding.
Because you said we don't mean Sambandha Gyan. I thought you just said that.
It does not mean just the basic Sambandha Gyan. So it means, it does not just mean that. Sambandha actually means relationship. So making you ready to establish that relationship with Krishna, which also includes the Sambandha Gyan, actually.
You mean in a more personal, specific way?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Thank you. And I hope you will be doing that second part that you didn't get to do today.
Oh, like that, there are so many second parts and third parts remaining, which I never get.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, some part is better than no part, so please do something.
Yes, Madhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Okay, we will take maybe one more question. Narahari Dev Prabhu. We cannot hear you, Prabhu. You're not audible. Okay, I think.
Change the microphone settings, Prabhuji, it will work.
Oh, wait. Okay, anyways, I think it's not working. And I think it's time also. We have gone more than 2 hours now. So I think we will pause here, and I have other commitments. So I think we will end our discussion here, and we will take. I apologize for those questions which I could not answer. Time is short. Not that I know the answers also for all the questions. So, but I think we will pause here, and we will, if possible, in my next session, if these questions remain, maybe we can take. So thank you all very much for your patient listening and your enthusiastic participation. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for wonderful class, Prabhu. It was very enlightening and very nice question and answer session. I may not be in the stage, the discussion, to understand the discussion, what you have done in the class, Prabhuji, but thank you so much. Sukha Krishna Prabhu, do you have anything, Prabhu? Yeah.
I actually wanted to ask my question. No, nobody's giving me a chance. I'm asking every day. My name is not called. I'm worried.
No, Prabhuji. Today we went little bit more discussions on the prior questions now, Prabhuji, but it's already.
Well, previously, I used to get first chance, but I'm not. I think I'm sidelined. I think from tomorrow,
No,
I'll
no,
not
no,
come
nothing
to
like that,
Sangha.
Prabhuji. Next time we'll call you first.
Yeah, that's
Your
some
name, Prabhu.
aparat.
No.
So I'm asking Shamagol, she said, I don't know what has happened. But I'm never been called. I raise the hand, I wait till then it goes off. So I feel very disturbed that, what aparat I've done. Because I'm trying to be good only, but I don't know. Sorry. I will not ask any more questions. I'll just listen and go. That's enough.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Let us pay obeisances to Prabhuji and all the Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His great Balaram Shakti Prabhuji ki
Shakti Prabhuji ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Gauranka,
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Dhanwad.
Gauranga,
Krishna.
Gauranga, Nityananda.